hear you have the right. Marriage is in large part about mutuality, about sharing, giving to, and receiving from one another. And we honor that truth with an exchange of rings. Your ring will serve as a reminder to each of you of your interconnectedness and as a sign for all to see of the bond you share. So, Jeremy, I will invite you to place the ring on Deborah's finger and to repeat after me. Ani, Lidodi, Vidodi, Li. I am my beloved's,
I am my beloved,
and my beloved is mine.
and my beloved is mine.
Place the ring on Jeremy's finger. Ani, Lidodi, Vidodi, Li. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. So a few moments ago, before we entered this room, we gathered to witness and sign your ketubah, which is beautifully shown right here. It was created for you by your dear friend Tim Lyons, and it is unique. There is no other ketubah like this in the world. It will always remind you of special connections and of this day, but I would like also to read some of its text for everyone here so that the congregation has a sense of your vision, your sense of marriage and what this relationship will blossom into if it goes as you aspire and as you intend, and it is our sincere wish to support you in that endeavor. So let me read the text. Ve'echad b'Shabbat b'shisha ve'esrim yom l'chodesh Cheshvan שנת 5,776 לבריאת עולם למניין שאנו מונים כאן בניו רושל, ניו יורק. באו בברית הנישואין כדת משה וישראל החתן יצחק בן וינסנט ושרה והכלה דבורה מלכה בת מיכאל ותמר. This ketubah witnesses before God, the Jewish community, family, and friends that on the first day of the week, the 26th day of the month of Cheshvan, in the year 5776, corresponding to the 7th of November in the year 2015, the Holy Covenant of Marriage was entered into in New Rochelle, New York, between the groom, Jeremy Thalika, son of Vincent and Sarah, and the bride, Deborah Rebarber, daughter of Michael and Lorraine, according to the laws and traditions of Moses and Israel. And each affirmed to the other, I promise to stand by you always, to be your joy and your heart, and food to your soul, and to bring out the best in you always, and for you to be the most I can be, to laugh with you in the good times and struggle with you through life's challenges. May we strive to bring to fruition both our shared and individual hopes and dreams. Let us build our home on a foundation of trust, respect, and generosity of spirit, guided by the values of Torah and Jewish tradition. May our lives be embraced by warmth, peace, and love. And when we grow old, may we walk together hand in hand, still feeling the sweetness of our devotion. I give myself without reservation to our union and welcome you as my partner in life. May our home and family be bestowed with blessing and peace. All is valid and binding. You signed it, your witnesses have signed it, and so have I, and it is both in content and in form a beautiful vision, and we look forward to seeing you live into it from this day forward. So, the ancient rabbis of our tradition were famous for many things, including their skill to debate fine points of law with precision. And not everybody thought this was a virtue of theirs. You likely know that in the Jewish calendar, a new day begins in the evening. So the rabbis agreed that tonight, when the sun set, the Sabbath comes to an end and a new day starts. But they argued with each other several rounds over the complicated astronomical question, when exactly does one day end and the next start? They had consensus that when the sun still shone in the sky, it was still day. They were smart enough. And they agreed that when the sun had disappeared and the stars had come out, it was definitely night, and already the next day. Fine. But they couldn't agree when between those two markers did the actual shift take place. When did the transformation happen? A moment of change can be hard to identify. So that's all well and good, but what does it have to do with your wedding? Why tell you this story here and now? A few moments ago, of course, you entered this space and you took your places under the chuppah, and at that point, you were not yet married. And in a few moments, you will leave from this spot, and we all know that you will be. So I ask you, when exactly is the moment of transformation? Did it happen yet? Is it coming now? If you don't pay attention, could you miss it? The truth is that many couples look back at their wedding ceremonies and remember very little, just a blur. But something important, something momentous, something sacred is taking place in this moment, and we should take care not to miss it. So let me invite you both to take a deep breath. And now take a moment and look around the room. Take in the faces of everyone who's come to share this moment with you. Etch them into your mind. And take one more moment and look into each other's eyes and remember the journey that has brought you to this point. Jeremy and Deborah, there are a few common metaphors that people use when describing types of couples. For example, partners with very similar qualities might be described as birds of a feather, or like two peas in a pod, or even two sides of the same coin. And other couples fall into the rubric described as opposites attract. Guess which one suits you? I have been thinking of the dynamics that go on within, say, a nuclear reactor. You have a radioactive element, such as plutonium, that on its own, if it reaches critical mass, can melt down or explode catastrophically. And then you have control rods, made from other elements that moderate the reaction, absorb some of the particles, and keep things humming along, producing energy and not spiraling out of control. As an analogy for your relationship, this is perhaps an overstatement. But what does resonate for me from this image is how the two of you understand your dynamic as complementary, mutually enriching, and full of intense power. Jeremy, in your descriptions of Deborah, you speak of her passion, her dedication and energy, her charisma, strength and confidence, the clarity with which she expresses herself, and of course her beauty. All these drew you to her from the start. And Deborah and Jeremy, you praise a partner who supports you with patience and skill and love. He slows you down and smooths you out. He listens actively and well. He makes sure that you both have what you need, whether that's dinner or permission to be playful and silly and blow off steam. You notice and admire how he exudes contentment, centeredness, resilience. He is thoughtful and trustworthy. And never to be underestimated, tall enough to reach things on high shelves. There is a balance. Your partner offers each of you qualities and talents that do not come as naturally to you by yourselves. And this love and partnership you have found in it challenges for each of you to call forth from within yourself qualities that may fall outside your own comfort zones. Lest this all sound like a bit of pop psychology, I want to remind you that this notion of partnership has been around since the beginning of Jewish ideas about relationships. In the biblical story of creation, Eve, the first partner, is described as Ezer Kenegdo, literally a helper against him, or rendered in better English, perhaps, a counterpart. Adam and Eve lived part of their lives in paradise and part of them working through the challenges of the everyday world that we know. And it is the same for all of us. let it be that this dynamic tension and differing talents you bring to this endeavor of a lifetime will fortify and diversify the richness of your marriage, so that when challenges emerge, if one of you should stumble, may you know you always have the other to catch you. And when you succeed, as you do so clearly tonight, may you always value the gifts of your partner, your counterpart, your ezer kenegdo, which helps you become a team much more than the sum of its parts. Very soon we will send you forth from this place into your first moments of your shared future. I regret, as do all parents and all rabbis, that we can't offer you a life free of challenges or disappointments. Struggle and loss is a part of every life, but so too is joy and accomplishment. And what we can pray for and what we hope will be the blessing of your marriage is that just as you join together and share wine from the same cups during this ceremony, so too will you always continue to drink of life together united, so that any bitterness you find will be halved because you face it together, and that any joy, and let there be much joy, will be doubled because you share it one with the other. Amen.
Amen.
The wedding ceremony reaches its height with the recitation of the Sheva Brachot, the 7 blessings that are only recited in honor of marrying couples. I'll chant them in Hebrew and offer translations in English. Everyone is invited to answer Amen at the end of each one of the blessings. Amen is essentially Hebrew for ditto. When you answer in kind, it is as if you are reciting the blessing along with me. And finally, a quick Hebrew lesson. The word for groom is chatan, and the word for bride is kala, so that towards the end of the blessings, when you start to hear those words, you'll know exactly who we're speaking about. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Blessed is the creation of the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol bara lichvodo. Blessed is the creation which embodies glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer ha'adam. Blessed is the creation of the human being. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'tzamo b'tzelem demutav nito v'hitkin lo mimenu binyan ad e'ad. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'adam. Blessed is the design of the human being. You have planted within us a vision of eternity and given us the means by which we may continue and flourish through time. Blessed are you, creator of humanity. Sos tasis v'tagel ha'akara v'kibutz paneha letocha v'simcha baruch atah Adonai misameach Tzion b'vaneha. Rejoice and be glad, you who have wandered alone. In joy have you gathered with your sisters and brothers. Blessed is the joy of our gathering. Sameach tisamach re'im ha'ahuvim kesamechecha yitzircha began eden mikedem baruch atah Adonai mesameach chatan v'kala. Bestow happiness upon these loving companions as would creatures feel in Eden's garden. Blessed be the joy of bride and groom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baras sason v'simcha chatan v'kala ilarina ditza v'chedva ahava v'achava v'shalom v'reut mehera Adonai Eloheinu yishama v'yarei Yehuda uvechutzot Yerushalayim kol sason v'kol simcha kol chatan v'kol kala kol mitzalot חתנים מחופתם, ונערים משתי נגינתם. ברוך אתה אדוני משמח חתן עם הכלה. Blessed is the creation of joy and celebration, lover and partner, gladness and jubilation, pleasure and delight, love and solidarity, friendship and peace. Soon may we hear in the streets of the city and the paths of the field the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of lover and the voice of beloved, the triumphant voice of partners from the canopy, and the voice of youths from their feasts of song. Blessed, blessed, blessed is the joy of lovers, one with the other. In just a moment, Deborah and Jeremy will break a glass and leave us. In Jewish tradition, immediately after the wedding ceremony, the bride and groom disappear for a few moments of solitude and seclusion. It gives them a chance to take a few more deep breaths, to look into each other's eyes, and to absorb what has transpired. They will be reintroduced to us again very soon, so I ask you not to stop them on the way out. There will be ample time for congratulations and celebration tonight. Though it is a familiar custom, people often ask, what is the meaning of breaking a glass at the end of a Jewish wedding? I explain that given the antiquity of our tradition, there have been several interpretations offered over the years. Which is true? All of them. The glass shards first recall the destruction of the ancient temple and now remind us that sorrow and brokenness are a part of our world. It demands that we dedicate ourselves to the world's healing. And yet the sound of the breaking glass is the sound of a joyous celebration. And the act of breaking should remind us that this relationship, like every precious thing in life, needs your care and protection. And may you always remember to treat it and one another with that awareness. When the glass is broken, our couple will share a kiss, and I invite you all to shout Mazel Tov and congratulations. Since both of you have joined voluntarily in this ceremony that binds you together in marriage, I am happy to declare that in the eyes of the Jewish people, the civil authorities, your communities, families, and friends, you, Jeremy Falaka, and you, Deborah Rebarber, are now husband and wife.